balance is very much a lie. And I really want to make sure my kids understand this, that I want them to feel that they have a balanced life as they grow up, but I also want them to understand that balance is not something that is 50-50 in life. The world is full of trade-offs, and what you're willing to do less or do more of is going to allow you to feel this sense of balance in life. Feeling a sense of balance in life is not the same as having a balanced life. What most people try is to have this weird thing where everyone has seen the graph before, or this Venn diagram of social and work and rest, and in that little middle part of the Venn diagram is where you achieve balance. But the truth of the matter is, as most people realize, is that you can have 2 out of the 3, you can't have all 3 at the same time. And yet, we do know that there are people out there who are willing to sacrifice certain parts of their life, and when you ask them something, they're like, yeah, like my life is pretty balanced. I actually feel really, really good, and I'm very, very happy with all the sacrifices and trade-offs that I've made. Balance is not trying to maintain everything at equilibrium, is what you are willing to sacrifice, and a lot of it is trade-offs. And it's something, a bit of a conversation I'm going to probably have with my kids at some point. Imagine that there is a seesaw, and on one end of the seesaw you've got this brick, it's like a kilogram of bricks, and on the other end of the seesaw you've got a kilogram of feathers. And the brick is a lot denser and the feathers are a lot lighter. Feathers are the metaphorical depiction of working hard, grinding hard, putting in the effort. You need a lot of this work and grind in order to yield some type of result. For example, for fat loss or health improvements, you can't just exercise for a week or diet for a week. You need to actually work on it for 12, 16 weeks, sometimes months and years, in order to see some type of tangible result. And even with work, for example, if you're trying to build a business or you're trying to, climb the social corporate hierarchy, it's not just going to happen in a month. Some businesses take decades to get to where they are. And even for promotions, it doesn't happen every month. It tends to happen annually, sometimes 2 to 3 years, and some people don't even get promoted. So you need a lot of this work to get things done. And again, the metaphorical feathers here is that they're going to stack up. There's going to be more feathers on one side of the scale. Again, ultimately, you need to do a lot of things to yield some type of result. The cool part about it is that if you do enough of work or hard work or grinding, whatever you want to call it, consistently, you're going to get results, right? And that's the reality of putting in the hard work. Once you start stacking these hustle, these grinds, these feathers on this metaphorical scale, what you start to see is that all of these hard work that you've put in is going to yield you something that you might call an achievement that you're proud of. And the feeling of dopamine, the feeling of success, the feeling of hard work pays off is pretty nice. This is where it gets tricky, because this is where burnout starts to happen. And this is where the whole idea of balance starts to kind of fall apart. When you start achieving things and success in financial, personal, family, whatever it might be, the rush of dopamine of success entices you to want to do more because you want to climb that next mountain. And we say this a lot, right? Like, you get to the peak of the mountain, you want to get to the next peak. You want to see what's beyond there, and you want to start working towards that. But the more work you put in, the more of these feathers you start stacking up, eventually this scale is going to tip. It's going to get to a point where it's not a kilo of bricks versus a kilo of feathers. It's going to get to a point where it's 2 kilos of feathers and 1 kilo of bricks. And so the scale starts to tip. And as people work more and more or grind harder at the thing that yields some result, even though it takes time, these results still feel good. It's tangible. You succeed. It feels almost immediate compared to the metaphorical brick, which represents rest and recover. And I can assure you this, when you tell someone to rest and recover and take a break or go on a holiday or change jobs because that job's not worthwhile, basically anything that requires you to pull back, most people are afraid to do so because it almost seems like it doesn't yield any result. Working hard for extensive periods of time in any facet of life, work, health, fitness, for example, a 16-week fat loss program, you see a result at the end by putting the work in. But how many people, let's stick with the fitness industry example for a second, see results by taking time off?